Jing Liu is called!
Alright, hello humans, Artist with the Fro here, and welcome back to the show. This is episode 7, I believe, 6 or 7. No, it's episode 7 of Unsealed Only. We have a lot of information that, a lot of things really that we need to talk about. There are a few things, of course, a few videos that are going to be coming out. Everyone knows that the ban list dropped January 17th, so we do have to make an update video on that. There were unboxings of Ignition Assault done by Team APS, SamX1, and NimNim, so we were able to see how good of a ratio, I guess, our luck is for the upcoming Sealed Only challenge. And yeah, we have a few duels here, one of which I am particularly excited about because it's going up against our big old nemesis, zombies. And spoiler alert, we sealed a win there, boys, with our new card here. So that aside, intro aside, yes, there has been new support for the Senkas that is available online, finally, so we can add them into the deck and see how well they run. Some of the cards, like I mentioned in episode 2 or 4, I believe, work a lot better than others, and one of them in particular we are definitely putting in the deck, and we've already seen a plus on our win side in regards to adding him in. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys the updated deck list, side deck, and so on and so forth, and then we have a few things that we need to jump into, and other things that we need to prepare for, because today is January 18th. Next Saturday, this time, hopefully the next video that we have out will probably be our very first sealed only video. That's correct. The sneak peek for Ignition Assault starts on the 25th. The following weekend, the actual set does come out, so we'll be able to grab it and then begin our journey. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. One thing I did forget to mention, which I will restate when we actually start the sealed only journey, is that this is actually going to be the last deck that I actually construct. I do have like one other side deck that I do need to make, and that's the Tenyus. But aside from that, this is the last, I guess, competitive, like, real deck that I'm really going to spend like a reasonable amount, hopefully a reasonable amount of money on. So it's kind of going to be the end of my journey. I know that sealed only usually is like the return for most people back into Yu-Gi-Oh, but this is going to spell the end of kind of like my era. Not trying to like frame it in a negative type of connotation. It's just for me that, like, with everything else that's going on in my life at this moment, I won't necessarily have as much time in the future to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And as a result, I want to try to like maximize that with one last hurrah, try to go as far as we can with a deck that we have a childhood, I guess, love for. I've always been a big fan of the Dynasty Warriors series, and to see this deck, or rather to see something like this type of idea come out, you can probably assume what other decks I've played in the past based off of my love of like ancient warriors, if that's what we're going to be calling them now. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the deck list. I know I've been keeping you guys waiting, and you probably like already can see what it is. I'll try to make sure I upload a linkable image as well if you would like to add any of these cards, or if you're thinking about playing any of the decks. I'll also make a separate video too that I think is probably going to work best just to show people how good Senkas are, or rather ancient warriors. I'm probably still going to keep calling them Senkas because it's shorter. How good Senkas are and what type of deck styles they can make of them. But let's just jump right in. So we have a 40 card deck. We got both 15 side and 15 extra deck. We're starting our deck off first with 2 Ash Blossoms of Joyous Spring. We have 2 Danger Dogman, 2 Nibiru, and into our first, rather pretty much into the rest of them are pretty much just Senkas. We're running 2 Zhogongs, which are common in Ignition Assault, which is going to be good. We have 2 Senka Champion Zhang De, which are, I believe they're supers, depending. We have Senka Herald Zhang Yuan, which was a common in the Japanese set, but I'm going to guess that similarly he's going to be a super. We have 3 Sunmos, which are going to be Ultras, probably going to be the second hardest thing to find. I've only seen people pull at least one of them per box, so that does kind of make me a bit disheartened. But he's going to be necessary, and we're going to have to run 3 of him. We have 1 Guan Yun, another Super. We have 3 Senka Noble Liu Xuan, which is another Ultra. He's going to be super hard to get as well. And then finally, we have Senka Tactician Lu Jing, a common card. Very easy. Now, the only thing that I will say about Liu Xuan, or rather just the Senkas in particular, is that I've seen boxes that either have 2 different types. So you either get a box with a bunch of new, and I'm talking about Ignition Assault, by the way. You either get a box with a bunch of new cards, including the Plunder Patrol, including, like, you know, all of the Ignisters, and so on and so forth, or you get a box that's very heavy on the Senkas. So we're going to try our luck. I'm going to try to save money between now and the 31st. Hopefully I have enough to buy 2 boxes. That way we can at least bolster up our decks. And then I do have some other things that I have in sight that will help us get most of the support cards that we need. We have Fire Formation Tenki, 3 of them. We have Fire Formation Tensu, we're running 2 of. We have 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Pot of Desires. Again, most of these cards I know where to get. And getting them from certain sets is going to be fairly easy. Raigeki, again, another card. We can probably pick that up in Dual Devastator. The Sun Liu Alliance comes out in this set, and I believe it's a common. I've not seen one person yet pull Senka Legend 3 visits. I'm going to hope that it's not an Ultra. I'm going to assume it's a Super. And we're just going to hope on that. Twin Twister, a fairly easy card. There are a bunch of structure decks that have it in common. So we'll just try to see if we can pick that up. Evenly matched. I do have one note to say, and this is not going to be the official note, but we are going to put out a declaration of challenge to people. And there are other sealed only people that I am watching. I'm actually going to shout him out. Reigning Card Games, who is playing 6 Samurais, which is a deck that I admire, and it's one of the first actual, like, archetype decks that I actually built back in the past. But he's running 6 Samurais, and, you know, we're running Ancient Warriors. So Reigning Card Games, if you're watching this, my open challenge is to many people, but you are on the list of people that I hope to face in the near future. And I know that you recently pulled Evenly Matched out of Dual Power. You know, kind of a little bit jealous, but I'm just going to leave that to the side for now. And then we're going to finish our deck off with 3 copies of Royal Decree. Another card I think we can pull out of Dual Devastator as well. Excuse me. Out of Dual Devastator as well. I apologize for the coughing. I recently got over a cold. That's why there was no episode out on Monday. But luckily I was able to release other videos, which you can also watch on the Artist with the Fro channel. So, aside from that, we have our side deck. Again, I apologize. Aside from that, we have our side deck. We have Danger Bigfoot. Again, the only reason why we're siding out the dangers for other dangers is because of their secondary effects. Dogman's really only in the deck specifically because he's a Beast Warrior. Aside from that, he really doesn't do anything to help out. Bigfoot, of course, for the destruction of monsters. Thunderbird actually did help us out, so we are gonna have to find where we can pick up a Thunderbird, because the back row destruction is another thing that this deck does kind of struggle with, only having Lu Jing as the one card that can get rid of cards in the back row. We have 1 Pankratops, who is formerly, or rather currently at 1. We're still running the Kawaki Merus. It was one of the cards that we added in when we first built the deck. And it's a card that we're just keeping really for his 2000 attack. Aside from that, he might actually come out. Senka Chief, Sout Day. We have him. We have 1 of him. We're only going to switch him out probably for Guan Yu, if I'm really being honest. Like, he's probably only going to be switched out, and even if that's the point, I'm still kind of on the fence because of the fact that Guan Yu special summons himself, and for Sout Day, it's like I have to destroy one of my opponent's cards. So it's kind of interesting, but his first effect is very what's the type of word? Advantageous for decks that or rather for a deck that's not even necessarily a Senka, because his effect basically just says if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard and special summon this card from your hand. So literally all you have to do is play like Mystical Space Typhoon, Twin Twister, any like random destruction card, and then just seriously just activate it. And special summon him. Like sending one card, it would work well for decks like zombies or something that needs to have stuff in the graveyard. There definitely will be some sort of combo that is available for him, or there's probably some sort of combo that's available for him. Secondary effect is really just Goyo Guardian. We're running another Zhang Yuan or Zhang Liao. Props to the intro of the video. We're running one Jia Wen, who interestingly enough is his name has also been changed, like everybody else's, really. Jia Wei is, I believe, his original name. But we're running one of him because he has a non-target effect. And I think that that's one of the things that a lot of people overlook. And that's the main reason why we're running Lu Jing. Lu Jing is really there for the spell card destruction. He's really going to be in here in regards to the halving of attacks. That's the reason why we're running him over the other spell card. We have one Zhuge Kong who, and I'm really gonna like just break this apart for folks. This card is not that good. Like I don't know why I feel as if I need to explain that to most people, but this card isn't like the best card ever. The one thing that you're going to do with him is you're probably going to run him like a 1 of or 2 at most. You don't want to see him in your hand when you draw him. Like, that's the last type of thing you want to see. He needs to be in the deck when either you activate Senka 3 Visits or you're activating Sunmo's effect. Those are the only 2 times that you really want to see him in there. And even if you're like trying to go for him, there are much better cards such as Zhang Fei or Zhang Liao that you would want to go for instead. It's not that good. It relies on Liu Xuan to be on the field, and it just doesn't set up really good end game type of combos. Like, yes, it's a good negate, but if you're running Royal Decree, they're not playing any traps, and then hopefully if you're going second, you can probably just eliminate what other spell cards. So you're really watching out for hand traps at that point. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a necessary card. We are just running one of him. But I haven't found a way to make him viable. If somebody else sees this deck or sees this video and they see something that they like from him, then by all means, I'll leave it up. I'll leave it in your hands. And also, this is going to be a much longer unsealed only challenge type of video. So I hope that you guys enjoy this type of content. I can't thank you enough for all of the support that I've received in the following days and weeks. And I'm really excited again for not only this deck to come out, but really for our actual sealed only challenge to legitimately begin. Finishing off our side deck, we have one Dracosac, etc. I just noticed, and maybe I'm late on this, but I never noticed that there was a dragon in front. I feel like I just saw the giant shuttle, so maybe that's me. Maybe my eyes are like bugging out. We're running one number 89, and we're running one Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon. Just 3 level 7s. Again, we're rarely summoning them. At most, the only things that we could summon them with, of course, we have Dogman, we do have Guan Yu, and we have Zhang Dai. But these 3 are very less situational than what we actually want to summon. We do have one Red Reboot, but that's pretty much going to be it for the side deck. Going on to the extra deck, Black Rose Dragon. Oh no! We timed out, folks. Let's refresh that real quick. There we go. And we're doing this right on the fly. You know, one take. I'm not going to edit none of this out. So, where were we? Right. So, Black Rose Dragon. Very simple effect. Very self-explanatory. Brotherhood of the Fire Fist. Another card that we actually ended up summoning in not one of the duels that we recorded, but a duel that we were able to use him for. So at first I thought it was going to be kind of useless. I was ready to take him out, but he does search one of our Fire Fist cards. So if we haven't used all of our Tenkis or our Tensus, he's also pretty good for that. One Castel, kind of like a better Bryanak, if we're really being honest. So pretty self-explanatory. Gaga Cowboy. We're gonna have to find this card. This is gonna be one of those cards that I haven't even looked in regards to the sets that he comes in. I feel slash hope he's in some sort of Yusei booster box tin or something, because we're gonna need him. Like, he's going to be a card that we are going to need. I've never relied on Gaga Cowboy so much since like he first came out, but he's a card that we're gonna have to really dig deep for and actually try to find, because he's won us so many games, and the second card has won us so many games as well. However, I do believe that Honor Arc is available in Duel Devastator. I think it is. I feel like Castel and Honor Arc are available, as well as Black Rose Dragon. I hope Gaga Cowboy is there, because I feel like he's kind of just as iconic. But we'll have to check and see. But we're gonna need 2 Silent Honor Arcs. People are sleeping on like cards like this. It's just interesting to see how much the meta has changed, but really how much of it has more or less stayed the same. Honor Arc is still such a good, useful card, and we're gonna definitely be running 2 of him. Big Eye is another card we're gonna have to find too. I don't know what set this card, like, these are some of the first Exceed cards that came out, so finding stuff like these two are either going to be really hard or really expensive. So it's going to be like a good luck for us. Utopia, there are enough boxes, booster sets, etc. that have Utopia in it. Finding him is going to be fairly easy. Another rank 4. If we don't find him, then we might just replace him with like a generic Link 2 or something like that. Crazy Box and Time Thief Redoer, I also don't know what sets they come in, but I do know that for us in particular, running Crazy Box is going to be one of those things where it's like, he's going to get us a win. Like, and I'm going to mark my words with this, right? This card is one of the most fun cards I've ever like seen / played with in regards to Yu-Gi-Oh! Really, 6 random options that just kind of make any type of duel as crazy as possible, because it's so interesting in regards to what you can do. You can either get a +1 on a draw, you can have your opponent discard something, you can negate one effect, you can destroy one card, or it destroys itself, or you have your own life points. Like, you literally run the risk of running like any type of random effect. So I don't know, I like it. I like its effect. I love its attack. It's just an interesting card overall. Of course, the Time Thief Redoer, we already kind of know what this card does. Borosword Dragon for our Link monster, first one. We're running 1 Firefighting Darumadal, which is a common, and I know it came out in Rising Rampage. I wonder if it's in, maybe it's in a Gold Sark tin. I think I've seen a few people pull this out of Gold Sark tin, so we're gonna have to test the Gold Sark tins. We're also gonna have to grab that for Nibiru and for our Dangers, so we'll see how well we can get that. And I know we can get Borosword out of the Gold Sark tins too. 1 Nightmare Cerberus. I don't know what set this card comes in. We're going to have to find that out as well. And we're also going to have to find out what set Nightmare Phoenix comes in as well. Both great cards. Both cards have saved us. Excuse me. Both great cards. Both cards have saved us in various situations. One for, of course, being able to destroy a special summon monster. And, again, for more back row destruction. Looking back on it, I am kind of mad that Heavy Storm didn't come off the list. I felt as if that was a card that not many people are playing, and even with its volatile like destruction power, it can be negated by almost half the cards in the game today. So Heavy Storm isn't really, I don't think, that big of a threat. Plus, it could be a dead draw if your opponent's not running back row, which if we're running against like most decks, with the exception maybe of Altergeist or something, it's like you're not really gonna set anything if you're trying to OTK your opponent. But that's just my own thing. Heavy Storm for the next ban list, maybe. Well, hopefully we can see. And then finally, Saryuja, the Skull Dread. So that's going to end it for the deck portion of this video. I guess everything after this is really going to be just us us in our next challenge, or rather our duel against zombies. So I'm going to turn it over to Dueling Nexus, and we're going to see how well we fare against zombies and against Red Eyes again. So yeah, let's see how well we do in those in those matches. Going to be facing off against zombies in this duel, and yeah, this is going to be an interesting duel. So the coolest duelist going up against the Undead Nightmare. Now I'm going to choose paper first, and unfortunately I don't get the first draw, but I feel as if he goes first this turn. Yeah, so he still lets me go second. This is not the best type of hand that I want to have. However, I do, as I just scroll through, have a few cards that can assist us out. So Unizombie, he chooses itself, discards one card, and then he activates Necroworld Banshee to then get Zombie World. Now he's going to try to activate Unizombie's second effect, but then we Ash Blossom that because I don't want him to send something to the graveyard again. So we're going to go start off first with Tenki, add Sun Mo. Then we're going to activate, whatchamacallit, 3 visits to then get Lu Jing. So my goal right here is to eliminate or try to get rid of, I actually ended up going for Zhang Yuan. My goal is to get rid of Zombie World as soon as possible. I can't have that card remain on the field for me to win this type of duel. So I have to get rid of it, then summon Lu Jing. I'm going to add Lu Jing to my hand. Now I could have gone for Liu Xuan, but again, like for this type of style of deck, it's necessary that I get rid of that Zombie World as soon as possible. Now 3 visits activates. I'm going to summon Lu Jing in defense position and then use Lu Jing's ability to then send Tenki, which I don't really need on the field anymore, to then get, to then get 3 visits back to my hand. Lu Jing's effect then chains Sun Mo's. Sun Mo's effect then chains Lu Jing's. And I'm able to destroy Zombie World in the process. So that's 1 Zombie World down. Even if he does find or activate 2 more, I've at least been able to eliminate his 1 chance of winning. Now he goes for Instant Fusion, and he's going to summon Thousand Eyes Restrict. And this is like what I see as a desperation move, because there's no reason as to why he would summon something like this, even though he already has Unizombie in his hand. Like, he could just reuse Unizombie's effect and then just pretty much send Glow Up Bloom or send Valor Drock to the graveyard and then just wait for me, or rather wait for himself to then get the card that he needs. But I feel like it was also kind of smart because he's able to at least get rid of the main card that's the problem, which is Sun Mo, instead of going for something else that would have been, let's say, less of a problem. Now, Fräulein, the vampire card that he just added to his hand, is going to be a nuisance to get over, because Fräulein's effect is not a hard once per turn, and he's allowed to get as many, what I would say, pluses off of it as possible. Not only that, it also works as a good secondary attacker, or not really secondary attacker, but it's a good card for its actual effect. Now, I'm looking at what we have here, and I'm just like, damn, I'm going to have to normal summon Zhang Yuan. But thankfully, I do have Tensu, which will allow me to then get, or rather normal summon another Tenki monster when I do add it to my hand. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me just go for it. I'm going to lose my Lu Jing. Luckily, I have Royal Decree for his back row, if that is a trap. And it's just going to allow me to kind of just pop off. So 3 visits let me get Sun Mo. I then normal summon Sun Mo. And I can activate Sun Mo's effect to get Zhang Liao, or not Zhang Liao, Zhang Dai, which I'm going to add to my hand. Still holding on to the Dogman. Normally in this type of circumstance, I would have gladly activated Dogman's ability and tried to get another plus monster on the field, but I figured, I was like, you know what, let me hold on to this because I might need it. Like, I really might need it. So I send his card back to his hand. We go in for a big attack. I have 28, 24, and 1900, but he is able to summon the Fräulein. I should have continued my battle at this point, thus just making him try to like lose as many life points as possible. But I misread Fräulein's effect, and then I read it correctly that time, and I was just like, damn, like I should have just continued attacking. He would have had to spend 400 life points, then an additional 700, or rather 800 rather, and then an additional extra amount of life points too. So I kind of felt like, I was like, wait, is it the card's in defense position? Why wouldn't I just run into it? Which was bad on my part. Now main phase 2, I'm just like, it's probably not best for me to do anything else. And I don't want to go for any of the Nightmare cards just yet, because I don't need to. I don't need to get rid of Froyline, because it's not the type of zombie card that is going to pose a really big threat. However, Unizombie definitely is. So Unizombie, he sends Necroworld Banshee. Banshee then banishes itself to get Zombie World. And now I'm looking like, oh boy, I know what card's in the graveyard. I know he has Ballardrock. And this is just like one of those moments where I'm thinking, you know, maybe I should have just attacked, or maybe I might quit. I don't know. I just, facing off against zombies has probably been the biggest challenge for this type of deck. What I will say is that, like, I feel as if the addition, granted, even though I never really used its actual effect in this duel, the addition of Zhang Yuan has helped out so much in regards to making the deck not only a good going first type of deck, but also a good defensive type of deck as well. I can now leave Sun Mo out on the field for a turn and then wait to get my Liu Xuan or something. Like, as long as I have him in my hand, everything is pretty good. So Ballardrock activates. I'm thinking like, holy crap, he's going to get rid of Sun Mo. He decides not to, and now I'm just looking like, okay, let's see what we have here. Out of all the cards that I see on the field, forcing him to then activate his other card's effect is not going to be good for me. So what the other thing that I can do is I can reduce his monster's effect, and then get rid of 1,000 attack for all of the monsters on the field, thus making Vampire Sucker 600, which means that, like, I'm looking at this like, holy crap, like, I can just run into Vampire Sucker. Froyline is not going to be able to save her, and she's not going to be destroyed by battle. So I'm just like, wow, let's run this through. Let's see how well this works, and if it doesn't, then I will have to force Ballardrock to activate its effect. But I'm looking at this like, all right, you know what? F it, let's just run into it. If we lose, then we lose. So I attack with Sun Mo, and I believe we see that he has Rivalry of the Warlords, which isn't going to do anything because every card on the field now is currently a zombie. He takes the 1,500, I take about 300, and I'm like, alright bro, my other card has way more attack than Sun Mo. Goes in, even if he spends the life points at this point, he's going to have to spend more than enough to then keep it alive. And if he didn't, then Zhang Yuan would have just killed it. And I won, and you can tell that my mouse is kind of going crazy. But yeah, it was a great win against a deck that I've struggled against beating time and time again. So that pretty much just wraps up the second half of this video. Again, I can't thank you all enough for the continuous support that you've shown, not only in these videos, but my channel overall. Please make sure you follow, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, hopefully you join us for the next Unsealed only video, as it probably will be one of our last ones before we actually begin our sealed only journey. But that aside, I've been the Artist with the Fro, and that, my friends, is the show. Thanks for watching.